Hello, beautiful being, and welcome to Behind the Scenes of Reality Play. Um, for me, it's essential to share the behind the scenes part of what it is to step in to becoming the main creator of your reality. As much as I would like to wait for perfection and completion and share that part of me, it almost feels too fake to not share the other side of things when things feel far from perfect and I feel very not complete because it's part of it all. And I feel like a lot of our pain, the suffering, not the pain isn't the hard part. The pain is just the pulse of birthing into purpose and passion. But the suffering originates from the feeling of separation, that we're alone and that we're different and that we're abnormal or crazy and that other people could do it but we can't, or other people are strong enough but I'm not, or me being happy can't be as important as blah blah blah. So I'm sharing the raw and real parts of me at 1 a.m. on a Monday night. And this raw, real part that I'm experiencing now is letting go of linearity and a sense of safety, a sense of familiarity. I've been stepping into the unknown more and more and surrendering into flow. I committed to do so since my 33rd birthday. And it almost feels like realities are crashing as I step more into the unknown behind me, and friends are disappearing, and a sense of self, of this is me, is melting away as I step in to this unknown, as I follow these breadcrumbs that it feels like my higher self has left for me. And in a way, I keep thinking I'll be landing into this, like, oh, this is the landing point. But it just becomes more unknown and more growing into what it is to be unconditional love. And unconditional love has no conditions. It's almost like, here, you want to be love? You want to be unconditional love? You want to play a part in that? Okay. Can you love this? And it's like, yeah, okay, I can love that. It's like, oh, well, can you love this like this? And can you love that like that? And can you love this like that and that? So it's almost like a miscarriage. It's like, I'm love. Oh, I guess I'm not love. And then it's like, oh, I have to love that too. Words are almost painful to use because they all feel like metaphors, an attempt to share something that cannot be spoken in words. But I know that energy is felt behind the things that the mind wants to comprehend and understand. And I know how meaningful it's been for me when people share their imperfect journey, and I can feel a resonance, and it's been very healing just to have that resonance, just to have that sense of familiarity, just to have that sense of, I feel that. So even if this may be scary for me to share and it isn't clear, I'm still sharing this as it is. and it feels real, and it's imperfect, and it's incomplete. And it feels right, though. And it feels in alignment. And this feels like a breadcrumb that my higher self left for me. And if this wouldn't happen, I wouldn't be making this video, and it may have not reached a heart in need of this form of recognition and confirmation that you are okay. And it's okay to feel lonely, but you're not alone. And it's okay to feel like you don't know anything, but you know everything, and you know too much at the same time. And it's okay to feel that, like as though you made all the wrong decisions, and as though you weren't responsible enough, and as though you are letting go constantly and letting things die off. It's okay to not have that linear story to share with people when they ask you how you are. To be able to share it in words is almost impossible. It's okay to feel that. It's okay. It's okay. And what I experienced today is an attempt, a very strong attempt to hold on to something familiar, to feel a sense of self, a sense of identification, a sense of, this is me. Oh, I know I do this. And I fell back into an old destructive habit that I'm way over. And yeah, I smoked a cigarette, a cigarette and a half. And it was familiar. And it felt like linear. I knew that I used to smoke a cigarette, and I knew that I know what smoking a cigarette feels like, and I know what the outcome of it is, and it was almost like a sense of I know this. This is familiar. This feels safe. And in a way, stepping into being a creator being and really playing with reality, there's a sense of freedom that we thirst for. But once we face it, it could be really, really scary when we realize how free we actually are to focus our attention in any way and co-create any reality and become almost any kind of being that we are, and to tap into multiple gifts that we all have access to. That freedom is almost scary. It is scary. And it's a stage that I haven't heard been talked about much. I always thought I'll discover I'm free and I'll be free, and it's almost like it keeps reminding me of a story I grew up on. I grew up Jewish religious, and there's a story of how the Jews exited slavery and walked out of Egypt into the unknown, into the desert for 40 years, and they had regrets. They were like, we were better off as slaves, and the food was better. It's in the story. I'm not religious now, and I don't hold any religious beliefs, but the story still keeps echoing to me because everything has some breadcrumb in it. And so in the story, these Jews that supposedly, exited slavery in Egypt were offered this food called man, and it tasted like anything they wanted. But they missed that density, that food. It felt better to them because it was familiar. And they would rather have an idol that was made of gold, a golden calf. They collected all these jewels from all the women while they were waiting to discover this oneness and this God beyond form, and instead they built a golden calf out of fear so they can see and feel and taste and touch it. And then it supposedly prolonged that stage of ultimate messiahhood and unification. So I feel that I'm almost yearning to like hold on to that, being part of that enslavement system of not being free, and in order to feel connected, in order to feel real, in order to feel a sense of self and identification, even falling into an old habit or talking to somebody that has no idea of or resonance of what I'm going through or why. I'd rather be, in a way, a slave to feel safe, to feel like I know, to feel like I know something, rather than I don't know anything. And all I know is to surrender into this flow, into the unknown, into this desert, into this playa within. We don't need to travel to the desert to go to Burning Man, to build a man made out of wood. We have the power to do that within every moment within, to burn this sense of self, this identification, this desert within of all possibility. It's within in every moment. And it's scary to face, and that's okay. But I do believe, even though the words I do believe seem funny to me, that once this state is practiced by enough and we play the game by certain rules of love, that we can begin playing other types of games together and make something else a new normal, to make not to know the new norm, and to confirm and affirm it with one another, and to be able to feel safe within the unknown, to be able to feel safe being imperfect, to be able to feel safe and let go of old habits that destroy us and hold us in loops with one another. It's almost like we want to hold hands in circles and dance around in circles and be like, here we are, rather than dance freely and oddly, and dance our dance, which is only our dance, which is only the puzzle piece that we are. Once we really step into unity consciousness, we're not all the same. It's uniting with this playa within, with this unknown desert within, of unattachment and a constant letting go in every moment, melting into more unconditional love and becoming this unique puzzle piece that only each of us can be. And we're not meant to be the same. We're not meant to always be glued together. But in order to play the game, it's essential that we embrace the puzzle piece, that only we know that we are, and it's always going to be different than the piece beside us. And it's scary to let go of our hands. But the dance becomes more than just a circle and loops and familiarity. It could become a new kind of dance, one that's more peaceful, abundant, and one that feels like home, which is beyond words, which is beyond identification. Which is beyond being enslaved to anything. including enslavement to oneself. So that's the behind the scenes of reality play, of playing with reality and living it your way, your unique way. Express who you are and how you are in whatever way you know how in every moment. And it doesn't have to be consistent. And if this touched you, then it's a yes and to the moment you feel is right for you to share you and your way, which is different than anybody else's way. Perfectly imperfect, unique, divine spark of unity that you are. Live reality your way, because it's the only way it's going to feel like home. Nobody has to agree. Nobody will agree until you agree. And it's okay to be scared. It's part of it. It's okay to feel everything and nothing. Much love.